Hi everyone, this is Heidi and I wanted to talk to you guys and introduce myself and let you know who I am. Sharing my experiences with you, my testimony as to what I'm going through and undergoing with this gang stalking program. So I just wanted to share some thoughts with you, introduce myself, share my background. Hopefully you've been finding my videos helpful. I'm trying to be as helpful as possible in exposing this. I just wanted to let you know that this is something that is absolutely unbelievably crazy. And for you to think 1 second that you're the one that's crazy is absolutely nonsense. That's the game, the game they play, the projection game. So with that, we are going to get into it. I want to also give a shout out to the YouTube content creators who have given me the courage to do this video, to start exposing it, to share my testimony. This video is for you guys. This is dedicated to you. Thanks for giving me the courage, the strength, the endurance, the laughs. You guys know who you are. The funny ones, just all of you are greatly appreciated in this journey. And so here I am sharing my first video. I am a single mother with a young daughter. I've been married twice. My first husband was the light of my life. He was amazing. I met him when I was 16 years old, and we were together for 12 years. He passed away on 9/11. He worked in a company in the Twin Towers, and we never found his remains, but he was definitely lost on that day. He was at the office, and so that was my first marriage. The reason I'm sharing that is because that's going to actually um, give a lot of where my background in this program came from. And then my second marriage, which is the father of my daughter, that marriage came about, I would say, let's say 7 years later. And that, my second husband, he was a narcissistic gang stalker. He was a really, really bad guy. He did bad things. He made me believe he was wonderful, but he was anything and far from it. So basically, that's me. I've been married twice, both, and now he's passed away as well. He was an alcoholic and he died from side effects due to his chronic alcoholism. And so that's pretty much, in a nutshell, my background. I was married twice. Both of my husbands have passed. I am a single woman, widowed twice with a young daughter, living in New Jersey, having had an experience of a lifetime that I can't imagine anyone else to have and come out through it normal. So where do I begin? I wanted to begin with, of course, thank you so much for supporting and viewing my videos. I'm hope you, like I said, I hope you find them helpful. That's all I want, is just to help you out, to kind of give you, enlighten you as to what's going on in our world, and see the reality of it. It took me a while, but when I did see it, it started falling into place faster and faster by the day. And yeah, it didn't come crashing down. I saw it coming. The gang stalking is what came crashing in on me, because I had a feeling, but it was pretty covert for a while until it became overt. And then it was like, whoa. But anyway, we all know what that's about, because if you're watching my videos, you are in or undergoing a gang stalking program, or whatever they want to call it, system, the matrix. There's so many names for it, but we all know what we're talking about here. This video also is going to discuss a lot of the police activity that I have been experiencing, and which is really disheartening to see and to even say, because of course I've always supported the police. I have always thought of them to be our heroes and help people in situations of crime and in our community. Just, we know we all know what the police are supposed to do. Well, what they're doing and what they're supposed to do are two different things. We all know that. I was blind to that for a long time. I didn't understand that. I thought the police were the good guys. I'm not going to call out all the police and say they all are this way, but the ones that I've seen that have been circling around me and in my view and in my immediate vicinity are not the good guys. Now, is that all the police? I can't say. I don't know. I'm hoping there are good cops out there that are doing their job and protecting and serving the public as they should be, what they're there to do. But I'm not here to say that. What I'm here to say is my experience, my testimonial. Now, I have videos, of course, of police behaving in manners that I've never seen before. And the manners were recognizable to me because they have been sensitized or conditioned by the gang stalkers. Now, we all know what the gang stalkers do. We know about the noise campaigns. We know about how they drive, their color harassment, you name it. There's a mixed bag of their tactics, endless of what they use. And they've taught me very well through the years of all of their tactics. I know pretty much all of them. Sometimes they'll throw in the new ones and, they'll start becoming repetitive as they do with their tactics, with the new ones as well. Now, when you see the police doing the same tactics as the gang stalkers, you have that aha moment, and I was very, very disappointed and disheartened to see it, but I didn't want to believe it. I kind of was like, nah, it's probably just maybe, one or two. But now I'm starting to see there's a lot of them coming out of the woodworks to behave and produce the same tactics. And as I started seeing that, I take note and I document everything and I record it, just because I don't want to make any irrational accusations or anything like that. Just, I like to take my time with things and kind of understand it and see where it's coming from, how it's operating. And I've taken notes and I've taken notice. And a lot of it is really, like I said, I keep repeating it, but it's very disheartening and disappointing. The police are pretty much from what I see, handling all of this gang stalking. They are controlling it. They are the ones that are pretty much operating the show. Now, how they do it is many methods they have. We all know, we all have those, conspiracy theorists, come out and say, well, there's this and, all these crazy things that come out, which you can go down those rabbit holes for days. And I've pulled myself out and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let's just, let's fight the alligator closest to the boat. And the alligators closest to the boat are pretty much in our communities. They are cameras in intersections. Majority of the cameras are, at every intersection, pretty much. You'll see them. Why are they there? Are they there to fight crime? From my experience, no, they haven't. Because I've had a slew of cars, vehicles, just backfiring with the loud mufflers and the engines and the revving and you name it, any kind of noise the vehicle can produce, it's produced it on my street. And of course, I have reached out to the police and I've sent emails, I've made phone calls, I've gone down there in person, made police reports, hey, police, pay attention, look what's happening, and how could you not see it? You have all this, technology at your hands. You have a badge where you can have information at your fingertips in moments, time, and you have all these cameras situated all out throughout every community. From what I see, how could you not know this is happening? Here I am. I'm an average citizen with an iPhone, and I can capture so much of this crime, and I've archived it, and how could it not be? How could it go unnoticed by the police? How is that possible? These are the questions I've asked myself. How is this happening? And you do further you research and your experience, you see what's going on in the streets and you just observe it, because I observe a lot of it, document it, record it. I don't like to give these people my energy because that's exactly what they want. That. We all know the energy is what they thrive on. Think about it. If this is the environment, the corroded environment they're producing with the noise environment, the color harassment, all the spooky, sneaky little tricks they like to do, the psychological mind games, the gaslighting. We can go on. We all know what they do. They produce this environment because they thrive on this environment. That's the environment they thrive. I mean, if you watch them, and I do, when they are doing these tactics, you could see they're pleased. They're thriving in it. That's their energy. They're basking and soaking that energy up. And, and it's foreign to us because to us, targeted individuals, chosen ones, I don't know what name you guys like to use. Everybody likes to go by different names, but that's not a normal behavior for us. We don't go out producing that into the environment. In fact, on the contrary, we're good. We do the good. We try to create a great environment and a good environment. So that's the battle here. And so just how foreign that is for them, like how we are, like we're good and we're producing good, and to them that's foreign, and they're hateful and angry towards that. So it's just a complete clash. And so anyway, I don't want to get off topic, but there's several videos I'm going to be speaking on a lot of topics, but this one is just a little bit of a practice one too. I'm a little nervous, so excuse me if I sound a little off, but bear with me, and I appreciate it. Now with the police, back to the police. Now, I've made several reports in person. Now, I have reported this activity going on for, for the last year. I've had to put up ADT cameras, security cameras around my home and inside my home to, once this behavior really erupted. And did it erupt? I mean, before the cameras, it was bad. And it's still bad with the cameras. So you can imagine before the cameras how they were behaving. Now, I have reported this to dispatch. I have reported this to the mayor of our town. The chief, I've reached out to the chief of police. He's well aware of these activities with the vehicles. But I have made police reports as far as the other stuff too. And, and what they do is they gaslight you. They act like they care, or they want to do something, or they're taking care of it, or, but in reality, every time I have gone to the police, whether it be phone calls or emails or police reports, it got worse. It was almost like, okay, whatever I complained about, they amped it up, so, there was like that language that I was starting to understand from them, where I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here and I get it. They would use keywords that I would use with a detective, and they would throw those same keywords at me. Like, for instance, as an example, I would be shopping in Target and the Target employee would walk by, and you know how they do their directed conversations, would use those keywords that I used with the detective. Now, you can go around and, you can actually explain that away, because these people are professional excuse makers. They are professional gaslighters. They know how to talk everything down, and they know how to talk it away, and they know their game. They've been playing this game for a very long time. You can, turn around and say, well, it could be the gangstalkers overhearing the conversation and making you, they're playing that game, making you believe it's the police. Yes, of course, I have thought of that scenario, and I have put in my own little tactics as testers. I throw a couple of feelers and testers out there myself. I have my tricks also. And no, that's not the case. The case is physically, you cannot make a police officer do the actions they do. How are you going to explain that away? You can gaslight me, you can explain it away. When you are a sane person, and I have no background as far as mental illness, as far as criminal background, any kind of substance abuse, I don't have any of that. I'm pretty much a pretty plain Jane when it comes to that kind of stuff. Yes, I'm not perfect. I've had my share of mistakes. I have, definitely. My mistakes mostly hurt myself. I'd never have hurt a single soul in my life. And if I have, not intentionally. Well, so anyway, back to the topic with the police. I am going to continue to make my videos on them. I have video footage of them doing the same tactics as the gangstalkers do. Their lights and their sirens, and they're blocking and causing road street theater when actually it's nothing there, nothing burger, as they say. It's just a big hoopla to do about nothing. These people I see living as long as I have. I'm not a spring chicken, and I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I know, excuse the background noise, that's my boxer dog. She is a sweetie. She likes my attention. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I know the real deal. I've been in the real deal. I've seen the real deal. And I can tell the fake ones from the real ones. And these people are far from actors. Some of them are good, and some of them you can see are really fake and phony. And a lot of the scenarios is what I've come across in my travels, and it's local travels mostly. They'll set it up if I'm going to take my daughter to school, which was a daily routine with them. As far as grocery shopping, running errands, going to the park, just wherever you go. You can go out in your backyard and they're going to do these dumb tactics. But now, like I said, for the police to not see this going on in their community and not say anything or do anything and warn the public, it's a travesty, because anybody can see it. I'm the average citizen and I see it clearly. Now, am I accusing the police of gang stalking? I most certainly am. I absolutely am. How they are blatant about it now, and they are coming out blatant about it with me. They're very blatant about it in their actions and their non-actions, as far as me complaining to them, writing reports, calling them. They gaslight me. The chief of police, I've sent him several videos of these activities happening on my block where I live, with the vehicles being so loud, and just, this is a residential area. You don't need to make it sound like it's a racetrack. It's not. If you want to do that, go on a racetrack or industrial commercial area where there aren't homes and residential neighborhood. Go have your jollies. I'm not against you having your fun, absolutely, but this is not about fun. This is about deliberate nuisance, deliberate annoyance, and it's consistent and repetitive. And so, the police, with all their cameras and all their equipment that they use to supposedly fight crime, they instruct me to call when this is happening at the time it's happening, so they can address it at that time. Of course, I follow their instructions, and I do. And when I do, they always gaslight me with, oh, well, did you get a license plate number? Well, obviously, I didn't get a license plate number. I'm in my home. I'm not outside sitting waiting for them with a, pen and pad or a camera for them to pass. It's hard to get a license plate number. I don't have that technology situated outside of my home. I have the basic security system. That's what I have. That's what I've been using. And that's what's been, here to show that this is the proof and evidence that this is occurring. They've done this to me several times. And, oh man, they gaslight you, try to get a license plate number, I can't. I'm not sitting out there getting a license plate number of all these guys that are driving by. You have the technology set up at every corner. There's all around my house. Every intersection has cameras. You can see these guys coming in and out. You have that technology. What are those cameras used for? If they're not to fight crime, what are they used for? What does that tell you? They are controlling the environment. They're not using it to fix the environment. They are controlling the environment, because I don't see anything improving. What I see is it gets worse, and more of these vehicles are coming through now. More of them. I mean, it's massive and consistent. As far as the loudness, they've toned it down. Now they try to do it with just minimal, subtle little engines, just to let you know they're still there. They're still going to do it. They have their ways. But it's consistent. Now it's like, we're not good. This is nonstop rolling in now. And if they don't do the loud, they'll do the color vehicles. But that's another story. I don't want to get off topic. And so they do this, so they don't really solve anything. They're not, creating a solution. What they are is they're creating more of this environment, is what I see. Every time I'd call it in, as soon as I'd email or call, they'd send even a louder one minutes later. How is it that I just called you and yet here comes more of them coming down the block? And I remember in the beginning when I first started calling this in, they tried to gaslight me before I had videos to show that this was happening. Dispatch at the police department, Fairview Police Department, he made a comment which was really, really off, really off. I mean, I couldn't believe he said that to me. But he said to me, so I was explaining to him what the vehicles are doing, what they sound like, letting him know. And he said to me, ma'am, I'm not going to send a unit out because cars are driving down your block. So I said to him, do you think I'm calling you because cars are driving down my block? Like, has he not heard my description of what's taking place? But the way he said it was like it was programmed in him. It was an automatic response. It's their book, their playbook of answers and responses to these situations, because it sounded so practiced and used very much. So it was just definitely something that sounded really not natural. I've never heard a police officer or dispatch any law enforcement use that kind of terminology. You listen to what I'm saying to you, and everything I was saying to him wasn't sounding like just cars coming down the block. I mean, does it sound like just cars coming down the block when I tell you there's backfire that sounds like gunshots? They're loud engines and vibrate the whole block when it comes down we know what they do. We know the description. We know how to do. We're not idiots. We know how to describe those vehicles. But he thinks it's, I guess normal. And I'm calling him because, they're just driving down the block. So that stuck with me. And when he said that to me, I knew I have to get this on video, because I knew that was the game they were going to play with me, and I had to produce the evidence. Now that I have produced the evidence, and much evidence have I produced, to say the least, of these vehicles, they find other ways to gaslight you. Did you get a license plate number? Oh, we're on it. We've stopped the cars. I got an email from one of the sergeants, when I sent, and it did stop for a little bit. We had a little pause for like 2 weeks, maybe longer, maybe 3. With these vehicles, and it was nice to have that peace and quiet around here, like it normally should be. I mean, it's a residential area. There's no reason for those cars to come through the area like that. And yeah, so it was nice. And then they started up again, and of course I got the videos and I emailed it to the sergeant, and he says, well, we got those cars, we took care of it, we stopped them. And, the very next day, like for hours straight, they come rumbling through. I'm like, wow, yeah, you really did stop that. I could see. So that's what as far as that goes with the police. There's other stories I can tell you with the police that I've seen. As far as the sirens, we all know about the lights. We all know how they do those things, and they're behind you with their lights, and they get in front of you, they shut the lights off, and they don't want to be on camera. But I have caught many of them on camera. Another thing I wanted to share with you, my dog, of course, is talking to me. Come here. That really was the eye-opener for me, as far as the police. On 9/11, I don't go down to ground zero at all when they have, on 9/11, I don't. The energy is just too overwhelming for me. So occasionally, every 5 years or so, I might make an appearance and go. And, last year was one of those appearances that I made on 9/11 to commemorate and remember the victims of 9/11 and my husband. And, going down there was a numbing feeling, as it is every time I've gone. Like I said, I've gone a handful of times. I don't like to go. It was very numbing. Everything is just, the motions of that day is just, everything just feels so numb. The best way I can describe it. But what didn't feel numbing were the police. That was something that is just invigorated an energy inside of me that I never thought, there's my buddies, that I never thought I would experience in my life. And that was last year, going down to ground zero. As I entered, down there. You go through the security and, you give your name and you go through. And as you start walking in, there's police everywhere. There's firefighters, police. I mean, family members with, everything is down there. Everybody's down there. We're there to remember. We're there to, mourn, grieve, talk to each other, support each other, share each other's stories. You know how it goes. So I go down there and, as I'm entering and I pass through security and the gate, once you give your name, there was a group of police officers standing like right in my view and kind of close to the path of the direction I was going to walk through. And I take notice of them, and there's about 3 or 4 of them. And they get closer to the path that I'm walking, closer to my path. And you know how they like synchronicities, you know how famous they are with that and their timing. At the same time, they all turned around with their back towards me. Very odd. I was like, whoa. Now I've seen this do this to the mayor of New York. Like I've seen that on TV, on the news, like all of them turning the back on the mayor. And I was like, whoa, what was it? Okay, come here. Sorry guys, my dog. So I was like, okay, all right. Like I took note of it, and it was like, woke me up out of that numbness. And I was like, okay, this is going to be what they're going to do. I knew it, because they don't just exercise once. You know how repetitive they are, and they love, that repetition. They love to drill it in. Okay, so I was, and there was no reason for them to do that. I mean, it's not like they were looking at something, or it was, there was no cause. Like I looked around to see like if there was something they can excuse it and say, oh, well, we were looking at that, or, there was nothing of that sort. So, walk in, go look for my husband's name, going through the crowds, you see the faces and you see everybody. And, hold on one second.